Well, thank you all very much. Probably no one more than me wished my dad could be here tonight. And thank you to President Cartwright for the wonderful words and for this great introduction. If my dad was here, I know that he would be first and foremost appreciative and humble, because that's just kind of how he rolled. He would certainly congratulate all the other inductees tonight of their contributions to UCF sports and the university as a whole. I know he'd express a deep appreciation to the Hall of Fame committee for being nominated and now inducted into the Hall of Fame. So thank you on his behalf. I'd also like to thank, and I know he would, the coaches and athletes that commit themselves, dedicate their hard work to their sport and their academics, and they represent UCF exceptionally well. And so I know he would want to have that very much at the forefront. Dad often said that there were three things that he loved more than anything: my mom and our family, UCF, and football. And if you were ever near him at a game, you're not really quite sure which the order was. He was UCF's biggest fan. And he loved being around the teams, loved being around the athletes and the coaches. It was invigorating for him, especially in the spring. As a football player in college and growing up as a kid, he would get a little extra pep in his step. And my dad was not a small man, so if he really started rolling, you wanted to make sure that you were a little clear. But he loved being around the students, traveled a lot with the team for the away games. They would ask him, "Dr. Hitt, what are you reading?" And he might respond with something like Harry Potter, which seemed a little unusual at the time, but that's what he did. Unfortunately, my mom and my sister couldn't join me here tonight, but they will see some of this on video, and I know that they would enjoy this very much. So when it comes to UCF athletics, I think some of the comments made tonight were really spot on. I started coming here in '92, right after my dad had the opportunity to come to UCF. And even though I never lived in Orlando or Florida, I was here often. Our boys almost grew up here. They thought every little kid went to Disney all the time. But we got to see UCF grow and in lots of ways. Physically, the campus, I walked around some on campus today. It's staggering. We look at the sports teams and some of the events. Mark and I were talking tonight, Fiesta Bowl, Peach Bowl, some things that were really kind of the cherry on top, if you will, but he always saw that there was going to be something else coming. My dad loved sports broadly because of his own personal experience. When he was 14, 15 years old, his dad passed away. And my dad loved playing sports, loved playing with his dad, whether it was football or baseball or fishing or hunting, whatever it was. And so he wasn't sure if he was going to get to go to college, and he wasn't sure what his sports opportunities would be in life. But fortunately, there were a lot of people that were very helpful, and he had a very strong and strong-willed mother that made sure that he was going to go to college, and he did. And he played football. He described his abilities as mediocre. He's always been humble. But he had the opportunity to continue his sport life, but instead decided to go get his master's and then his doctorate. And that was his calling then, was education. But he saw the connection of sport and education for many people. There's a lot of life lessons that we all learn. And while it's not necessarily right for everyone or at the highest levels of achievement, I think he saw that for those that wanted to participate, for those that wanted to play, for those that were willing to dedicate and work, that his hope was that UCF could be a great home to them and provide them their life's opportunity. So I think that was really, if we look back to his legacy here at UCF, it was inclusion, it was opening up, and to being able to instill those characteristics of people that we would like all of our sons and daughters to be. And so that was very much important to him. A number of people have reached out to us as a family, even some conversations here tonight. None of this would have been possible without my dad. And so while I won't argue with that, we're proud of him. I think his first response would be, well, it wouldn't be possible without so many of you. He would always deflect the attention from himself to others. And we're very fortunate tonight to have some of the people that my parents call lifelong friends, people that really help drive what athletics is at UCF today. You see some of their names on buildings that are around the campus. So please help me, and after the last one, I'll applaud, and please join me then. But some people that were very, very influential in my dad's vision and what he thought was possible. And then the commitment that they made, both in effort and focus, and really championing UCF athletics around Central Florida. Jerry and Susan Roth, David and Judy Albertson, Dick and Mary Nunes, Tony and Sonia Nicholson, Rick and Trish Walsh, and Rich Lapchek and Ann Pasnick. Thank you. So Dad knew from his own experiences that you could have high achievement academically, and even though he said his football abilities were mediocre, you could have high degrees of achievement in athletics at the same time. They are not exclusive of each other. He often said that UCF, being big, can be an advantage and should not come at the cost of quality. So it was always about having both. I think the other part, and Dr. Cartwright mentioned it, was inclusiveness. So the more that could be shared to kids that are wanting to come to UCF and develop and display their talents, that was his driving passion for what we all see here today. In 1992, if you were on campus, I know I couldn't see the vision of this, but he could. And I think because of that, we're all here now. So today, UCF can proudly look at this and say that UCF is where champions come to play and where champions are in the classroom. And to that, I thank you all. I have an honor of also paying some appreciation. There's a second topic. This isn't strictly to athletics and the Hall of Fame, but the timing, they didn't want to have me come up again. So it's my great honor tonight to share something very special to us, the community of UCF and our family. There were so many people at UCF and in the community that became lifelong friends of my parents. And when my dad retired and they moved, they miss everybody here deeply. But tried to stay in touch as much as they could. Dad often said that building and refining UCF was a team sport, and that without so many devoted supporters, what he called the UCF miracle would not have happened. A few years ago, he sat for an official portrait, which will be soon permanently displayed in the John C. Hitt Library. And so if you're in town and have the opportunity to go see it, sometime after next week, I understand. It's going to be in an area where there's going to be a lot of traffic, a lot of students coming in and out. And so the portrait was made possible by some very generous gifts from friends. And so we would like to say thank you this evening. On behalf of our family, we'd like to honor the following donors. And so please join me in applause after I've read the donors. The Honorable Judy and David Albertson, the Honorable Olga and Cesar Calvet, Charlie and Sandra Gray, the Honorable Mickey and Krista Grindstaff, Dr. Beth Barnes, and Dr. John Crescito, thank you, Beth, Roger and Shelley Penn, the Honorable Rick and Trish Walsh, Sarah and Roland Bernard, the Honorable Marcos and Nancy Marcana, and the Honorable Tom and Penny Yoakum. Thank you. So for the entire Hitt family, unfortunately, like I said, some couldn't be here, but between my sons and now grandson and soon-to-be granddaughter next week, I think, we've all become part of the UCF family, and we couldn't be happier. I know if Dad was here, he'd be so grateful, and at this point, he would lead us to say, "Go Knights!" Thank you.